Can one book really be worth $1.5 million?
If you can find the secret in the book, you can have anything you want.
The greatest book on success that's ever been written.
Without question, this single book has had a greater influence than any other work of its kind.
Whatever the human mind can conceive, the human mind can achieve.
It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it to whatever ends you may desire.
I would visualize things coming to me that I want.
Just decide, and then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
So you see him turn into a lot of books like The Secret, books from Tony Robbins. The origin of that material is nearly 100 years old, which was written in 1925 by Napoleon Hill.
I knew that I had drawn that into my life, and it changed the way I thought about my life forever.
You are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality.
All success begins with a clear picture in your mind of precisely what you want from life.
My fascination with Napoleon Hill actually began at the very beginning of my marketing journey. I went to my very first marketing seminar. Multiple speakers talked about mindset, that part of it. I think once or twice people asked who here's read Think and Grow Rich? And everyone's hands go up in the audience except for me. I'm looking around, I'm oh, I'm the only one who hasn't read this book yet. These people are all more successful than me. And I was I have to go read this book.
When the last page of Think and Grow Rich was read, the man who then stood and walked out into the world was a changed man.
So that night I went on eBay and actually found somebody who had created an audio CD set of them reading Think and Grow Rich.
The reason Think and Grow Rich has withstood the test of time is because it rests on the broad, clean foundation that everything begins with an idea.
So then over the next 2 or 3 weeks as I was driving to my office and back, I had the CDs in my car and I started listening to Think and Grow Rich. And that was the first time I ever heard it, and the first time I felt impressed by Napoleon Hill. And I learned all sorts of important lessons from that, definiteness of purpose. How do you pick something and move forward with purpose? And what's the plan you move forward with? In my mind I was this is what everyone's doing who's successful, therefore it's gospel to me. I'm gonna just do what he said. And so I started implementing the things from the book Think and Grow Rich. And fast forward, 20 years later, I built a good empire, but it came off of the personal development foundations for Napoleon Hill. But a couple of years ago, we were thinking about selling ClickFunnels. And I remember asking Tony Robbins, should I sell it? Should we not sell it?
You love what you do. You light up when you do. I love being around you when you talk. You all get immense ClickFunnels. Wow. It's like Jesus has come to earth and is coming through his body. It's a beautiful thing, So for you to sell that is really exciting right now. I don't know if it'll be exciting 5 years from now, unless you found the next most exciting thing that you're going to go build and make happen and go do.
That's where I started thinking, I don't know the next step. What is it? This is what I've been obsessed with, is marketing and business and funnels. And I didn't really have a next step, and it got me thinking about other things I'm passionate about.
Again, this is made out of sheepskin, cotton paper.
About that time is when I met a rare book collector, someone who specialized in one genre of books, and they were LDS Mormon books.
This is the earliest known image of Joseph Smith. This is as close as you can get to seeing Joseph Smith.
I was on eBay and I found something really, really cool that I wanted to buy. And these were old books from the early 1800s, books that are super rare and expensive, but they're so magical and they smell so cool. And I became obsessed with these old books. And that kind of started this fascination. And I was well, there's other books, other things I'm excited about. There are rare books in other genres and things. And I started searching around just for other things I'm passionate about, like marketing and business and personal development. And one day I typed in Napoleon Hill, and there's tons of different things I was looking through, and I don't know what's good or what's not good. And I remember there's a button where you can sort, and I decided to sort it from highest price to lowest. And when I did that, the #1 Napoleon Hill was the first edition Laws of Success, and it was for sale for $1.5 million. And I was just that is a lot of money. There's no more expensive, there's no better, there's no more unique piece on this planet for Napoleon Hill than the first edition Laws of Success. It was published 3 years before the actual Laws of Success books came out, and there's only one on this planet. I was I want it so bad, but $1.5 million, $1.5 million. It's is that worth it for some old books?
Do you mind if I have someone look at them?
The first thing we need to see is whether or not it's a first edition.
First edition, that's what you want, the first book printed.
It's also about taking part of a larger legacy.
The blueprint for success that was given to Napoleon Hill is literally the foundation of the whole success, motivation, positive mental attitude world.
Oh, Psychology magazine from what year? Come on now, 1929. This is when. So I started buying things here and there, just dabbling as I would look at obviously the biggest one, the one I wanted the most, and try to like ease the pain of like the desire of the one that made no logical sense. Oh yeah, dude. 1806, Morals and Abstracts. Morals by way of abstracts. And so that kind of started the journey. I started buying things here and there. I did find a first edition Think and Grow Rich. It was a couple $1,000s. I remember buying that. I found an original copy of the Master Keys system. I bought that. Yes, the word success on 3 times and the word secrets, therefore.
Write a book called Success, something secret. Russel will buy it.
Walt Disney had a book called The Secrets of the World. I love eBay. I've been told I have an eBay addiction. People tell me that they want to delete the app from my phone, they want to ban me from the site, they want to block all IPs, ability in our office to get to eBay. Dude, this one's awesome. It smells so good. So Jenny, what are your thoughts about this
This hoard?
I wouldn't so much call myself a hoarder as much as a collector. They're different, right? And we're almost 30,000 books now. Before we even started like ordering for real, this is all like just me dabbling. I bought an issue of Napoleon Hill magazine. It was the first edition from 1919. I think I spent $5,000 or $6,000, and it was just one issue of a magazine, but they're really rare. And I was like, oh, I got an issue of 1919 original Napoleon Hill magazine, which was really cool. And I'm looking at everything, and then there's this card in the box that basically, the card said, hey, if you're interested, I have a whole bunch of other Napoleon Hill stuff. We should, let me know if you want more things. And normally I see those things and I just kind of throw them away, but for some reason I felt this tug of like, okay. So I took a picture of the card and I texted that number with that picture so he knew who he was talking to. He said, hope you enjoy the Hill material and that it was received in perfect condition. Are you a big Napoleon fan or collector? And they sent a picture of Napoleon Hill with a whole bunch of other pictures around it. And he said, here's a quick shot of some of my favorites. I was like, I've never seen these pictures before. I wrote back and said, yeah, he's one of my heroes, and also I'm a collector of old books. I said, this is one of your listings too, right? I think that might have been his. And so just jokingly, I wrote back, I said, well, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I'm planning on buying all that stuff from you soon. So don't sell it to anyone else. Probably was the wrong thing to say because very short afterwards he came back and said, just heads up, Kevin Trudeau's also been reaching out about the collection as well. Wait, what? Someone else is, there's no one else as stupid. I remember thinking, there's no one else as insane as me that would actually spend $1.5 million on some books, and they dropped Kevin Trudeau's name.
Now, Napoleon Hill, at the turn of the century, was hired by the richest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie said to Napoleon Hill, I want you to study the richest people on planet Earth for the next 20 years. So Napoleon Hill first wrote about it in a book called The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. Henry Ford got crazy that Carnegie allowed these secrets to be revealed. He got the book squashed and all the real secret information edited out. And then even that book was crunched down to Think and Grow Rich, and that was edited. Of all the crazy people in the world, the only other person who I think is crazy enough to do this would be Kevin Trudeau. And I was like, oh crap, now there's a timeline. Now it's not just, I'm gonna buy it in 10 years from now when I can afford it. Now it's like, if I don't buy it now, it could be gone forever. All right. I want to do this, but how much stuff is there? He said it's conservatively over $5 million worth of books and magazines and collectibles. I was like, if we're gonna do this, I was like, how about this? I'll fly out to you and I'll pick it up. And he said, well, if you fly to me, it's not gonna fit in a plane. You don't understand. I said, no, I'm gonna rent a plane and then fly it to you. That way we can fill the entire plane up with everything that you've got. So we are about to take off from Boise, and so I'm really excited and also nervous because I've only seen pictures of him. I'm
I assume they're real. I'm pretty sure they're real. Hoping that they're real. I ended up buying the entire state, so I don't even know all the stuff I'm getting. I don't even know. This is like going treasure hunting, only way better. He rented this church out, and we just drove past it. It's this huge Pentecostal church. We're gonna go see all this stuff. How's it going, man?
Good meeting you for the first time, boss. What's going on?
Not much. Great meeting you. We walked into the room, we had everything set up, and it was one of those feelings like, this is history. This is people who have passed on. People who, at one point in life, were like me. They were excited, they were passionate. They had this thing they wanted to share with the world, and they were writing books and publishing magazines. Back when that was not easy, they didn't have Google Docs and things like that. Like, they were creating these things on typewriters to get their message and their mission out. And I felt like walking in, it was like, here is the generation, people I've been modeling and studying their finest work in one spot, collected and curated by someone who was obsessed with this era and these people as much as I was.
It started out just like my own library, just for myself. You know, it's kind of like a snowball. Once you get going, people come to you after a while. And they're like, hey, you want to buy this? Or, you know, I know somebody that's got this. Or that's how a lot of this came to me, is folks just bringing it to me. This was the last book he wrote. So it could be, possibly, the last book he ever signed.
Oh, wow.
The Thomases is some of the family. But that's after his stroke. So that would be days before his death, 1970.
We were able to see who were the authors, what did they create, how did they all fit together, and what were the stories behind them all.
You guys want to go look at the big stuff here a little bit?
Oh, there's more?
Like the big stuff.
Yeah.
This is the main piece. This is one I saw on eBay that was like the crazy expensive one I've been dreaming about for.
This is the original work. And that's what every book on success ever written since takes from.
This is the laws of success.
This is like, right now, and nobody has disputed it, the only known set in the world. And for many, many years, it was always stated that 1928 was the original first edition. So whenever I released that I own this, it like shocked the whole Napoleon Hill world. They're like, no way. It's been a big deal. They like this because it's more streamlined and it's exactly what Napoleon Hill wanted to do, how he wanted to say it before big publishers got a hold of it.
I remember I'd seen the pictures on eBay 100 times. Like, to see the actual things, I was scared to touch them. I was scared, I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruin them. And he opened one up and showed us, like, here it is, and here's when Napoleon Hill signed it, and kind of told the story behind it and how he found it, and like, that was like just such a cool moment. And then he pulled out all the hand-typed papers that, you know, 250 pages that Napoleon Hill hand-typed on the typewriter.
So these come from different years, from a span of about, from what I can find, about 1932 to about 53, 54 in there.
And he told the stories behind those and how he found them, what they were, and why they're important. Only $200,000 worth of hand-typed pages right now. You can see the hand-type, it's also got like his notes and all those kind of things. Crazy. And then he pulled off probably the ultimate upsell. At this point, I was just like, man, I have all this stuff we're taking home with us, we get it all. And earlier in the tour, he showed me this one book called Mental Dynamite. He said this is part of a book series that he had written. The story told us that this book was written during World War II, and then when Napoleon Hill got done and he wanted to print it, there was a paper and ink shortage, so he never had a chance to print the full set.
This came from his estate, and there's 4 out of 16. But
interesting.
The cool thing is, I know somebody has Hill's personal complete set.
Of this?
And he actually did hand edit notes in it and stuff.
Is he gonna do anything with it ever?
Oh, the guy?
Yeah.
He might. He wants like a fortune for it though.
So in my head, I'm like, oh, I have to have that for the collection. There's a spot we could put it in the light. Like all the thoughts, but unfortunately, you know, it wasn't here. And as we sat down at the table at the very end, he brought back up Mental Dynamite. You remember that book? And yeah. And I said, do you think the person you know who has would be willing to sell it to me? He's like, I'm pretty sure they would.
I got something right here to show you. So you might want to sit down for this one. You don't know about this one.
This is the one from right here?
This is Napoleon Hill's personal complete set of Mental Dynamite.
Oh man, that was really good. I'm impressed. And inside was the entire Mental Dynamite course, like one of, if not the only one on the planet, the entire thing. And he said, I'm actually the one person who owns it. This is the one piece in the collection I hadn't told you about that I wasn't planning on selling to you. But we're here, and if you want it, I would be willing to sell it to you for...
I'll tell you what.
And he kind of thought through the math in his head, and he said, for an extra $285,000. And at first I was just like,
In the end, that's everything.
But at this point, you know how funnels work. After you're in, you're in. And I said, you know what? Let's do it.
You sure?
I can't say no now. Come on now. And that became the collection. When all was said and done, after all the wires had cleared, it was $2,685,000 in books. The greatest Napoleon Hill collection of all time. And as fast as we came, we were gone. We jumped back in and we raced to the airport before we missed our flight. And luckily, we were able to fit the entire collection in the baggage storage of the airplane, outside of the two that I kept with me, the Laws of Success and Mental Dynamite. I did not want to put those on the plane just in case. Those are the two most important, most expensive, rarest pieces in the collection, so I kept those on the front seat with me all the way on the flight home. This is at least no, definitely 1800s. You can, 1900s are a different smell. This is the bump I needed. I feel good.
You know, where could I get you counseling?